All right. So the Airbnb Alachua County tax deal.
Mm-hmm.
Why was the deal made?
So up until this point, those that have Airbnb properties have not been giving their tax.
The bed tax.
The bed tax.
Okay.
And so whenever you stay in a hotel here in Alachua County, just for the sake of math, it's a $100 room. There's 5% on top of that that's charged. So it'd be a $105 room. That $5 then comes into tourism so that we can promote Alachua County outside of the county to get people to come and stay in our hotels and eat in our restaurants and buy our gasoline and all of those good things.
Sure.
If you stay in an Airbnb property, that would have been just $100. So it gets to be an equity issue where, well, if I stay in the Airbnb, it's cheaper.
You don't have to pay for it.
Because, that same $100 is just $100 rather than $105. So it got to be an equity kind of issue. Airbnb is aware of this, and they've been starting to get contracts with different counties all around the state so that instead of us, I don't know how many Airbnb properties they have, but again, for the sake of math, say they have 100 properties.
Yeah.
Instead of the tax collector trying to track down 100 people, we would have Airbnb. So we would have one instead of 100. So whenever you book online on Airbnb, that extra 5% is automatically added to it. The host does nothing. The person renting the room, they don't even realize.
Yeah.
So it's a very seamless, easy process. And then once a month, Airbnb would figure it out. They would remit our 5% back to the tax collector. So it's kind of one tax form instead of 100.
Yeah.
So for the county's perspective, it's kind of an equity thing so that they're on the same level playing field as all of our hotels.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also just ease of having one entity to deal with rather than 100.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also are aware that there's other platforms. So Airbnb isn't the only one. And so whenever Airbnb gives notice to all of their hosts that, hey, we have a contract with Alachua County, this tax is going to be charged, as a pass-through. Also, if you use any other platform, you also have to pay tax separately. So Airbnb will do it for those properties posted on their website. But if you also post it on 5 or 6 or 10 other sites, don't forget you got to remit the tax whenever you're using those other platforms too.
Okay.
So am I making it clear enough?
Oh, yeah,
it's kind of super confusing.
No, totally following.
Okay.
And then we were talking to a host yesterday, and apparently some hosts were just not paying for it. That's why it was implemented. Mm-hmm. So it's like everyone has to now, so not just select few.
And everybody really should have been doing it for quite some time. Ever since we've had the bed tax. If you're renting out your couch or room or whatever, you should have been doing this all along. So this agreement also says whenever the date that we sign with Airbnb, they from that date forward will take care of the tax, but we're not forgiving those that had rented their facilities prior to that date. And so they're still, and again, Airbnb, they're supposed to put all of the paperwork out to all of their hosts saying, don't forget, from this point forward, we've got you, but from that point back, you've got to pay those back taxes.
So they have to pay it back if they want to continue to be a host?
Yes.
Okay. And how long do you think that'll take to implement?
So we're hoping that Airbnb will sign the contract and get it back to us in a timely fashion so that we can get it to the Board of County Commissioners in August. And then the date that the board says yes, that'll be the date of the agreement, and then we'll
From that day? Okay.
Yes.
So it's relatively soon?
I'm hoping, yes.
Okay.
But, of course, if Airbnb's lawyers have changes, they have to tell us what the changes are. I have to go back to the county attorney's office and say, hey, they didn't like this word or phrase or whatever, and then we got to figure it out.
So you have to restart the process.
So back and forth until everybody's happy.
All right.
But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. No changes.
Yes, ma'am. So do you think this is going to affect people trying to stay with Airbnb if they were using that to avoid it? Or they just weren't unaware about it?
I think that they were more unaware of it. So I think that, that there's folks that like the traditional hotel experience and that there's folks that want to live like a local and they like the Airbnb experience. So I really don't see where it's going to dissuade people one way or the other. I mean, whenever you travel, do you even pay attention to the tax? It's like, I want to go to that and
just
I want to stay
place.
in that.
It looks nice,
Yeah, that's it. So.
And how much money does tourism account for in Gainesville?
So right now we have 5%, and each percent is about $1 million this year, so about $5 million.
Wow, that's a lot for me as a college student.
Yes.
And now, what is your role in tourism?
So right now I'm serving as the interim tourism manager. So I've got, kind of a bigger role to play right now, but under normal circumstances, whenever that position's filled, that person reports to me. So it's one of my departments.
Sure. And what do tourists come here for, mostly in Gainesville? Is it for football or
Definitely
football?
That's top of the list. And then we have some great nature. And we have great
Yep, I went to
arts
Ginny
and culture.
Springs right over in 45 minutes away.
Yep.
Depot Park down there was really nice.
It is.
Payne's Ferry, I gotta say.
So you've nailed all of the top things to do.
Well, I'm actually taking this class where we have to go to all the places around Gainesville for credit. Yeah, and that's what this project's for. We're supposed to find a hot topic in Gainesville.
Good deal.
Yeah. It's a great class. But I think that was all of our questions.
Okay.
But there was one more thing.
You better get an
A. Do you think it's more of a spike during football season or during fall? So do you think it's going to be a better turnaround with this deal?
So because of it, theoretically during football season, we should see kind of a notable increase in our tourist development tax revenues. Because those that weren't remitting it will now be remitting it, so we should see it. And the timing is great. Because
it's right before.
If we could get this done in August, it's that's perfect.
And then all the families like to come up and stay, see their kids. So it's perfect timing for you guys.
It is.
All right. I think that was all.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.